Boston Bottle, I am Daniel O'Connor representing Boston Bottle, 372 Commercial Street. Petitioners seeking approval for a change in off-premise alcohol license from beer and wine to all alcohol. Dan, if you would like to make a few statements.
Yes, please. Thank you. My presentation will not be as exciting and as interesting as Nick's, obviously, but I am Daniel O'Connor. I am the owner of Boston Bottle, which is located at 372 Commercial Street here in the North End. I'm here before you tonight to petition to change my existing license from a beer and wine only to a full alcohol license. The reason for this petition, twofold. First and foremost, it's very simple that over the last 7 years, my clients, my customer base have, quite frankly, asked me to be able to provide spirits, high-end spirits to them. The second reason, if you would indulge me, is a little more complex, I guess I'd say. So in the last few years, the laws in Massachusetts have changed. The licensing in the city of Boston has changed quite a bit. And in the wake of those changes, what we're finding is a lot of these large corporately owned box stores emerging. And quite frankly, those box stores make it very, very difficult for a small retail shop. It doesn't matter if it's beer and wine or if it's hardware. It makes it very difficult for independent, privately owned shops to compete. I grew up in a small town in Connecticut, and over the last 20 plus years, going back to visit my family and friends, I've noticed the landscape of the small business in my hometown change quite a bit over the years. When I was a kid, I used to go to a single screen theater to watch movies. That has long since been closed because there was a multiplex that opened up in the next town. The hardware store where my mom and dad shop, where the owner would know exactly what projects they were working on, has long since been closed because Home Depot opened up 20 minutes down the road. Even a little office supply / stationery shop that was owned by a friend of my mom's has closed because the Staples opened up 2 exits over. So I'm very proud to be a small business owner. I'm very proud to be a resident of the North End. I've lived across from the Old North Church for the last 15 years. I know to some of you in this room, I'm still a newcomer, but I'm very proud of this neighborhood. I'm very proud to be a resident. I'm very proud to be a business owner in this neighborhood. I think the North End, and I've thought this long before I moved into the North End, I think the North End is the last of the neighborhoods in Boston. And a lot of what makes it so is small businesses such as mine. Boston Bottle is an asset to the neighborhood. I provide a service for my customers in the general area around me. As do most of the little businesses, be them privately owned restaurants or pastry shops or grocery stores. Over the last 7 years in business, I've supported this neighborhood and the charities that have come to me for assistance and donations and charity tastings, and we're an active part of the community. The petition in front of you right now will not change my business model. I stood before a lot of you folks 7 years ago and said that what I was looking to do at Boston Bottle was a high-end neighborhood fine wine and craft beer shop. I do not seek out the college-age students. If those of you who are in college, I apologize, but that is not my clientele, nor do I want it to be my clientele. So with this license, what I'm looking to do is continue with my philosophy about offering high-end boutique, small, family-owned distilleries and that type of thing. The business hours will not change. We close at 9 o'clock 5 days a week, 10 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. I always thought that my customers are basically you and I. And if my customer doesn't have the bottle of wine he's having for dinner by 9 o'clock at night, then that's not my customer. So I thank you for your time. I open it up to questions if that's appropriate, Brad.
Yeah. Absolutely. So you just answered that, my one question, which was there's no change in the business hours or anything like that?
No. Yes,
And I guess, see if you can explain what is near you. Is there any other liquor stores in your side of the north end?
The closest would be, I suppose, would be Hanover Wine and Spirits on Hanover Street. That would be the closest. So yeah, we've been. It was March of 2013 when I opened the shop, and it's a niche customer base. I mean, the shop is about the size of this table, quite frankly, and it's been great. It's been great, and it's been a great honor to live in the neighborhood and also work in the neighborhood. So I'm a lucky man.
I mean, some of us around the council, I think, when you first came here, so I can attest to this. I mean, like you said, you have been part of the community, which we always like. I think oftentimes for this type of thing, dealing with alcohol, and we've had stuff come before us that it's sort of like everybody talks about more in the restaurant where everybody needs a license, things like that. But I feel like yours is in an area that isn't served by spirits. Like you said, Hanover Street. It's not really near you, so in this instance, I don't think it really is an issue personally. But.
Yeah, and I shouldn't talk, but my intention again it is, and my intention is like, everybody knows what a nip is.
Yeah.
That has no interest in it. There's a thing called a handle. It's a large format, like cheap. That's not what I'm looking to do by any stretch of the imagination. I gotta look at myself in the mirror every day and say, I'm proud of what I do. And like I said, I'm proud of my shop, I'm proud of being a resident here. And so, anybody else have a question? Yes?
It is a small space, so what percentage do you estimate of your space will change?
Very tiny. We're literally 3 shelves. Like when I say 3 shelves, like one section of my shelf. Very tiny. And again, I'm looking to, there's a lot of local distilleries, that I want to support and that people have asked me to support. So that's really what the idea behind this is. And quite frankly, to give the customer who comes into my store, who's been coming into my store, who knows me by name and knows my wife's name, and I know everything about him, and for him not to drive to Total Wine to buy a bottle of something, so.
Thank you very much, Dan. Did anyone on the council have any questions? Or anyone else?
Yes.
Did
Did you call me Mr. O'Connor?
No, I said just a comment.
Oh, I think so, Mr. O'Connor. Oh, this is very formal.
No,
wear a jacket.
I'm no hard ball. Can you bring back the wine spritzer icicles, popsicles? Because those are delicious. Do you remember those?
Oh, yeah, I do know.
And I also like the fact that you bring in other small businesses, like you cross promote, so you
Thank you for
Party
saying.
there.
Yes, thank you for saying.
You bring in other businesses to like support other businesses as well, so I appreciate that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
appreciate you saying that.
But for summer 2020, thank
Okay.
you.
This isn't drizzling.
No, they're really good.
All right, so without any other further questions or comments, I will ask all the council members to cast their vote and pass it down to the top.
372 Commercial Street was unanimously supported by the council.
Thank you. Right.